Hey everyone, Coach Simon here with Top Tennis Training, and in this video we're going to cover the top 5 lessons that I've learned over the past few weeks from competition. Now, I had a 10-year hiatus. I didn't play a single match in almost a decade, but I recently started competing again and I've played 4 events in the past 4 weeks. Now, throughout the entire journey I've kind of been writing down on a daily basis just some of my thoughts, some of the things that I've picked up along the way. It's one thing being a coach, it's one thing teaching your students to do something in a match, but it's a totally different thing to actually go out and do it yourself. And since I haven't competed in so many years, it actually felt very foreign to me the first few matches. So here are my top 5 lessons that I've learned over the past 4 weeks. So number 5, show up to the match, show up to the tournament with a crystal clear game plan of how you want to construct points and how you actually want to play those matches. In the first tournament that I played, I showed up extremely nervous. I showed up without a real game plan. I didn't actually have a clear plan of this is how I'm going to construct points, this is how I'm going to play my game. I kind of went out on the court, everything was just about how am I going to feel on the match court, am I going to actually handle the nerves, am I actually going to be able to play some okay tennis, and I'm thinking about also the winning and the losing. I wasn't focused on the game plan and I wasn't focused on how I wanted to construct those points. Now, after that first final, I went home and I thought about how I was actually winning and losing points, and I realized that I didn't actually think once out on the match court that I should be attacking this player's backhand much more than I was, and I didn't have a clear plan of how I was going to exploit that weaker side. I was kind of playing off instinct, but I wasn't really in the zone, focused on this is how I'm winning points and this is how I'm losing points. And if I want to win this match, I have to do more of this and less of this. So before you show up to your matches and your tournaments, have a real plan of how you're going to play those points and how you're going to focus on constructing and winning those matches. Lesson 4 is construct your training around the way you want to play and your game style. There's no point in a serve and volley player, a net rusher, trying to train in the same way that a grinder does. They're completely different styles of play, and one player, the grinder, would have to work on having longer rallies and less intensity throughout that rally, whereas the net rusher would have to have shorter rallies and work on getting to the net as often as possible at a higher intensity because they're sprinting forward. So the training styles between that type of player and this type of player would be very different. And if you're trying to train in that generic way of just doing what everyone else is doing, but you have a different game style, then you're not going to improve as quickly as you can if you have a specific training plan which is tailored to your game style. One of the main things that I've been working on in the past few weeks is making my training a little bit more intense, but with shorter durations. So I focused less on doing 50-ball rallies, but more on doing 8 or 10 ball rallies, but with higher intensity and more focus on my footwork and that recovery. So I've really zoned in on hitting the wide ball, recovering, hitting another wide ball, recovering, making sure that I'm using the correct footwork patterns to get back in play and being explosive to then push off to the ball. Now, this is because my game style on the baseline is to try to out-rally the player and make them hit a shorter ball, which I can then come into the net and finish the point with a volley, hopefully. But a lot of players would be working more on a different game style. They might be working on that longer rally and just wearing the opponent down. So whatever your game style is, have your training tailored to that game style and really maximize your improvements by working on those specific elements in your game that will help you win matches. Lesson number 3. When it comes to matches, there is one type of fitness training that should form the entire bulk of what you're doing off the court, and that is HIIT. High intensity interval training. Now, when I started my journey kind of getting back into shape back in January of this year, I focused on long runs. I was doing about 4 to 5 kilometers a day at minimum. Sometimes I would do 10 kilometers, but I would do it at a steady pace, and I actually felt quite fit in March leading up to my first event. I felt like I was able to run for an hour at a solid pace, but what happened was when I played my first real match against the Iranian Davis Cup player, I felt like I was going to die. My heart rate was so high and it wasn't coming down between points. So I play a long point, and between that point and the next point, I felt like I was going to have a heart attack. And that's because my heart rate was so high, but it wasn't dropping in time for the next point. So what I done after that match was focus more on the interval training and really zoning in on that stop and start. So the bulk of my training is now around 30s. I do 30 seconds of a sprint or 30 seconds of a high intensity exercise, followed by 15 to 20 seconds rest. Now it could also go 30-30, so a 30-second sprint if I'm going higher intensity, and a 30-second recovery before the next one. And even if you do 20 or 30 minutes of that, you're going to be really struggling to maintain that high intensity. But once you get out on the match court and you start playing matches where you have that higher heart rate, you'll feel like it's dropping much quicker and you'll feel much fitter. I'm 4 weeks into my program and I'm already feeling about 30 to 40% faster on the court, but also fitter. I'm not breathless after those long rallies, I'm not gasping for air, and I certainly don't feel like I'm going to have a heart attack. Lesson number 2 is take it day by day. Now this goes for everything. This goes for your tennis, the progress that you're trying to see, how you want to improve your backhand. You're trying to work on that kick serve. Take it day by day. This goes to your fitness. This goes to losing weight. This goes to all aspects of your game. Take it day by day and really work as hard as you can for each day. Now you can work at maximum intensity on a day-by-day basis. It simply won't work. You'll end up injured or you'll end up getting ill because your immune system is too low. But what we can do is every single day we work as hard as we can for that day. That might mean that yesterday I worked at 90%, so today I'm going to work at 60%, but at 60% I'm still pushing myself for that day. And I might do much less following a hard day, but I'm still trying to see small gains day by day. Often when people start a new program, a new fitness program, or they're working on a serve, they're working on their backhand, they think about it long term. They think about 3 or 4 months down the line, and they think it's too big of a mountain to climb. Now I can say that back in January, I was 20 kilos, almost 20 kilos heavier, and I didn't really think that I'd be playing matches again. I thought kind of my coaching has taken over. I'm too far gone from competing to actually get back in match shape. But what I wanted to do was just kind of get back in some sort of shape so that maybe even me and Alex could play some doubles matches, even a few matches here and there. But day by day, what I realized was I'm applying myself every day. I'm showing up, I'm doing my hour of fitness, I'm doing whatever I have to do on the court with my footwork. And actually after a few months of doing that, I felt much better than I expected. And I've actually started to feel a lot fitter in the last few matches. So don't rush the process, take it day by day, and you'll actually enjoy it much more because you won't have this big mountain to climb. You'll just have small steps, step by step, and you'll see the progress. And lesson number 1 is when it comes to winning matches, consistency is king and fitness is queen. The foundation of any good tennis player is consistency. If you have a monster serve, if you're hitting 130 mile an hour serves, but your serve percentage is 10 or 15%, you're not going to be winning matches against players of your level or above. That consistency will help you achieve a lot more than being a power player and going for the lines on every shot. And actually, match by match, I felt like my consistency has to improve, and that's the main thing that I'm working on in training. Just being more consistent, being more patient, and trying to build the point and deserve the ball to then attack. In the first few matches, you could see that I was rushing, I was trying to take the upper hand, I was going for high-risk shots, simply because my fitness wasn't there. So the consistency and the fitness go hand in hand. If you're very consistent, you have to be very fit in order to actually maintain that high level of consistency throughout a 2 or 3 hour match. Don't feel like you have to go out there and smash your opponent, blast them off the court and hit the lines to win matches. Being consistent and being more consistent than the opponent will take you a long way. A simple way to feel this is find the base level of your opponent's game. Now for most players it's between 6 and 8 shots. This means that if you hit 9 shots in, if the base level of your opponent is 8 and you hit 9 balls in, you're going to win that point. If the base level of the opponent is 6 and you hit 7 balls in, time and time again, you're going to break the player down and you're going to break them mentally, and that's where it really hurts. So there you have it, my top 5 lessons that I've learned over the past few weeks. Hopefully I'll be making a lot more lessons like this in the near future. Now if you've enjoyed this lesson, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel of course, and turn on that notification bell. Signing off, Coach Simon from TTT. All the best and see you soon guys.